Welcome to another episode of Moon Monkey. We're going to be talking about Trainspotting 2, directed by Danny Boyle.
It's been a long wait since the first Trainspotting for the sequel. I think the first one came out in '96 and was kind of a mammoth hit at the time and kind of encapsulated a generation and had a fantastic soundtrack.
Which we did a review of, which you can check out.
Check out our review of that. So this film sees Renton, who you may remember cheated his friends out of 16 grand at the end of the first movie. He's returned from the Netherlands and he comes back to Scotland to meet his old friends and to kind of apologise to some of them and just
avoid others.
Yeah, avoid others. So it sees like the cast return from the original movie. Ewan McGregor, Ewan Bremner,
Johnny Lee Miller,
Robert Carlyle, and Kelly MacDonald with a brief appearance there.
All very good.
Yeah, they all
lost it.
Yeah, they all did a great performance. Like especially Ewan Bremner, who plays Spud, and Johnny Lee Miller. Like their characters hardly seem to have changed. Like they just seem to step straight back into those roles. I felt like Ewan McGregor had changed the most, which is fitting for the story, I guess.
Yeah.
Like he seemed like the character that was completely, almost unrecognisable from Renton from the first film. Whereas Sick Boy and Spud, you thought, it's just they're back. They're just a little older. Even Begbie was like, quite different in a way from the first film, looks-wise.
Oh, you mean looks-wise? Okay.
Yeah, and also like a little bit of his character. Yeah, there was a lot more humour in this movie. Like the first time you see Begbie, he's in prison and trying to get out, and there was like a lot more humour, a lot more funny scenes in this, I felt, than the first film. The first film had like a very black humour, but this had more of a light-hearted feel to it. I mean, there's less. Let's say, I might be completely wrong here if I'm misremembering it, but there's like less death and there's less like horrific things happening to the characters.
There's no baby scroll on the ceiling.
Yeah,
which is a big thing for me, because that always lived with me. Like I remember when I was really young and I saw Trainspotting, that always freaked me out, and it still freaks me out.
Yeah.
There's nothing in this that I'm like really freaked out by.
Yeah, I mean they do make reference to that in this film. They do kind of do a callback and mention what happened in the first film, like the kind of tragedies that befell them then. It is mentioned. One of the things that I loved so much about this film was that it's always hard to do a sequel because in some ways you're trying to recapture the magic of the first film, but this one kind of addressed it head on and just went with the whole nostalgia theme of like the characters are looking back in the same way that the audience is also going to be looking back on the first film and thinking like, oh, the first film was better, you're never going to live up to it. And in the same way the characters are almost got the parallel thought process going on, that they're looking back on their younger lives and thinking we're never going to live those moments again, we're never going to do that again. So this film had a kind of somber undertone for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like there's a lot more deeper than just like they could have just done a Trainspotting 2 and it could have been bad.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, they've waited this long and it's like, if they're never going to do it.
Well, that was the thing. The characters do get up to kind of antics in this film, but they don't try and do what they did in the first film.
They're not trying to recapture when they were 22. They're very much like 20 years older, and it's about how they've grown up and their history and their friendship, and if their friendship has lasted. Yeah, and if they still have that bond.
With 20 years not seeing the other person.
Yeah, but they still had all that history.
Yeah,
you know, that life-changing stuff. Really.
Yeah, I mean, this one, like, I found this one had more of a plot than the first one. Because you've got Sick Boys running a kind of blackmail scam, filming, doing undercover filming, kind of head teachers and wealthy people having sex and then blackmailing them with the tapes. And then there's money involved later on, so you have essentially like a parallel of what happened in the first film, where they've got a decision to make of what's going to happen with the money. And also Begbie thrown into the mix. Anything could happen because he's just completely insane still.
I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that the screenwriter John Hodge was back as well from the original Trainspotting.
Yeah.
He wrote the script for this one too, and this was also the second draft of it. He did a first one which was more closely linked to the second book, or the second ever Welsh book porno, but this is more of a taking bits
amalgam.
Taking bits of both, and it's not as similar to the book, but I think his writing is a big reason that it was so good, and you have that same kind of voices of the characters because you've got the original screenwriter from the first one as well. Whereas if you got someone new in, it might not have been the same feeling and the same voices for the characters. I think like the script is just really good, and you've even got little nods back to the original movie with certain sentences uttered, and you're like, oh, that's what they said in the first one. You know, especially with Begbie just going crazy at people. You've got like, oh, he said that.
I loved all the stuff when they were kind of looking back and like saw themselves in the first movie, or they'd even have like hints of the iconic soundtrack from the first film. With like the strains of the songs playing from the first film, and it was like gave you a callback. Especially, I think if you saw the first movie when it came out, or if you saw the first movie quite a while ago, for the first time, and then you see this movie, it'll have a huge impact on you because it's almost like taking you back in the past and saying, "Yeah, you remember this film that was really great." Yeah, this is not that film, but we're going to reference that film and see what's happened to the characters. So a great film about kind of growth and change, and it's even represented in kind of, you've got Begbie with his son now, that kind of theme of passing it on to a new generation or getting older and not being...
I think a lot of it was like, was family, and how, especially with... For me, like, a lot of it was Spud's story. In a way. And it does actually become Spud's story because he's writing it all down.
Yeah, the focus is on him definitely this time round.
It's just about him trying to be like a better husband and father for his wife and child. A lot of it seems to be around that. And the same with Begbie when he gets out of prison, and he's just eventually just wants to be a better man than his dad was.
Yeah.
And Renton's lying about his family that doesn't exist to sick boy to impress him because that's what he feels like he should have. He's like, oh, I've got a wife and 2 kids. And really he's getting divorced and he doesn't have any kids.
Yeah.
And sick boy has his kids in London and he doesn't see it. You know, it's all about family and how they're trying to recapture that. And maybe their real family is just the 4 of them, as cheesy as that sounds.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it definitely has a kind of Clockwork Orange vibe. The book Clockwork Orange, not the film, in that you have the original film where it's the guys that are in the kind of youth gang, and then when they get older, they essentially outgrow where they were in the first one. Like, they're not the same people, they're not able to do the same things again. In terms of the direction of this film, Danny Boyle's back again, which I think is important because it has the look of the first film. It has the same kind of visual panache. You've got kind of crazy angles and cuts. The only thing that I didn't like was they occasionally did the freeze frame, which they used sometimes in the first film. They used it here, and I just thought, I couldn't see why they were using it.
No,
it just seemed like because they were copying what they'd done in the first film, which had worked.
And I thought stylistically it looked really good.
The other thing in this film, you don't have Ewan McGregor's monologue, which kind of ran through the first film, because the first film was kind of his thoughts looking back on the story, which you didn't have this time. And what I mentioned to you, they do have the changed life speech again, but updated for a modern era. But in this version, it's not a monologue as it was in the first. He's actually saying it to someone, which I felt didn't quite work. It just seemed really odd to me.
Yeah,
and also it seemed like they were putting it in just for the fans. Like, oh, this is a speech. We're going to replicate it here.
But they still updated it enough for me that it worked. You know, criticising like modern life just as it was criticising life back then. So it still worked for me. Yeah,
it kind of worked, but I thought it worked better in the first film. But yeah, I would definitely say this is a worthy sequel. And if you like the first film, I don't think you would be disappointed with this one. No, it is a different story. They did do something different with it, but it's up there as like a good film as well.
I do think like it's got it's touching on people and situations that don't usually get a lot of time in cinema now, and maybe even in a lot of literature. Like, you don't really get that written about now.
Yeah,
it's people with no money, no jobs, that are on heroin, and it's just a film that you maybe won't really see now. I mean, I don't really see anything else that recently that's captured anything like the imagination that Trainspotting captured, and those types of stories and those types of characters.
I wouldn't say this is going to become as much of a iconic film as the first one, because the first one came at a time, like a perfect time when it just hit that vibe, or hit the kind of what was going on in society.
But I don't feel like it's trying to recapture that. It's just telling the story of the 4 people 20 years later, which is good. You know, it's not trying to recapture that Trainspotting feeling.
This one kind of is in the Trainspotting world, though, rather than having the impact in our world that the first one did, like when it came out.
But it's not trying to recapture those youthful moments. It's just thinking about them and then saying, like, here's 20 years later and here's all the characters.
Yeah. But overall, I would say, fantastically enjoyable film, funny, does recapture some of the magic of the first film with the same kind of cast. Have got a great chemistry together still.
The performances are fantastic.
Especially kind of, Renton and Spud and Renton and Sick Boy, like how their relationships have developed. It really kind of touches you at points.
There's some great scenes where Renton and Sick Boy, like, there's just like with them interacting and stuff, and their little kind of daydreams and thinking about the past and stuff. There's some fantastic bits.
Yeah. And so definitely worth watching, but you would have to have seen the first one, I think, to appreciate this one fully, because it calls back so much on things that happened in the first film. But worth watching for fans, definitely.
Spud's fantastic. Ewan Bremner's fantastic. Just gorgeous for Spud's facial expressions.
We might do a separate episode just on Spud.
just our love for Spud. No, but like, it's just Ewan Bremner's fantastic. It's like he really captured that he's huddled in the corner and he's like, you know, he's agonising over his entire life. And, you know, it's just he puts in one of the best performances for me. And there's the music as well. The music, we never touched the music, but the soundtrack's just as, maybe not just as good, but it's still
yeah,
really
they definitely have some great tracks in there, and they definitely worked to keep it up to that high standard that was achieved in the first film.
Especially, like, the one scene that really lost me with the music is the Begbie and Renton when they catch up with each other in the parking, underground parking garage lot or whatever, and they've got Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and it's just like, that's just a really amazing scene for me too.
That was our review of T2 Trainspotting. Thanks for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll be back with another review soon.